Hello, good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are. We are starting our live session today, our out of the box session today, and yeah, today it's a hot topic nowadays, right? We're gonna talk about spec-driven development with a guy that have been using it and he came here to share his experiences. But first, before I call him here, let me say hello, Igor. How are you?
Hi, Yogo. Hi, Chila. Hi, for everyone that are watching us. Yeah, great subject, by the way, since we are in the AI era, especially on development, getting to know how to become more professional, more in depth, and how to better do the proper usage of this amazing tool that is AI to get it much more professional results is always amazing. It's great to have a guest and that is doing that pretty well and looking forward to learn from him today.
Excellent, cool. And you, Chila, how are you?
I am fine, thank you. Good evening, Hugo, Igor, and everyone who is joining us tonight. So I'm excited about the topic because it's we have a guest who is an expert in this topic, and we will be talking not only about Spec-Driven development that I understand. We will also be talking about harness engineering. So things are changing so fast that you are in difficulty if you try to catch up. And I'm happy that we have someone here tonight who can guide us through this topic. So looking forward to it.
Cool. Yeah, that's true. Things are changing way fast here these days, and I think the best way actually to keep up is hearing what others are doing and sharing experiences. I think still not uh, we have not yet enough experience to have some de facto, but everyone's experience can converge into some good practices. So yeah, I'm also looking forward trying to leverage spec-driven development in my team as well. So there's a lot to ask in this session. So I want to call our guest here. He is a tech leader. He works as AI engineer in a fintech. He's also a speaker and mentor. So let me say hello to Fernando. Hey, Fernando, how are you, man?
Hi, hello all. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. And let's talk. Let's figure out and let's talk about this. It's a really hot topic, and all the industry is figuring out how to approach AI development and how to deliver better code. Even some discussions if we should review some pull requests or not, right? Because some guys are saying, oh, maybe it doesn't make sense to review some AI generated code, right? Let's talk.
Cool, excellent. Uh, and what I don't know if you would like to start bringing some concepts, or do you want to how it would be better for you for this, because I have a lot of questions. If we do start questions, I think we're gonna end up with questions. So yeah, what how do you want to start
Yeah,
here?
maybe I can start with the presentation, and I can pause a little bit in the middle before entering the demo
Sorry, I
session,
think
and we can
I
discuss.
think your connection is just for me, or
Yeah, just for you, Yogo,
For
it's
you,
working properly here.
okay, so it's my connection. Go ahead, Fernando.
Yeah, let me share here, and we can start talking. So let's just move the screen to another one and share my presentation. So, what motivated me? I think I don't know if it's on the screen. I think you guys need to put on the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go.
Are you able to share the screen so I can put here on the stage?
Yes. Great. So, what drove me to talk about this, right? And about these topics, right? I started developing and delivering code, and the code seems always not good enough, and also seems a lot like a mechanic and not in a good shape, or missing something, or that was really clear that AI generated that code, right? So I started looking in good approach and how I could improve it. And after many months, like every of us, trying to catch up, trying to exercise new things, right? I came up with some approach that helped, right? And today I'm going to talk a little bit about spec-driven development and harness that helped me to achieve these results here. So I received this feedback from my colleague João at work, and he said that this pull request is really good, doesn't look like vibe coded. So that was amazing for me to receive this feedback, right? Because that's what I wanted. I want something that helped me to have more productivity, but that doesn't sound like AI, or doesn't sound like a bad code that will not be in production, right? I want something that will help us, right, and be a valid code. So that's why I entered. I will just go a little bit on my presentation, just so you guys can know me a little bit more. Since they already presented me, I'm working in the international environment for the last 5 years as a tech lead, where I'm experiencing this, and also in my personal projects as well, right? And so I'm doing a lot of things out of the AI in the real life, right? I like to ride motorcycle. I'm One Piece fan. I know that maybe some of you also are One Piece fans here. And I'm married with this beautiful woman here, Marceli. And well, these are the guys that actually are driving AI for me, right? These are my co-workers, and that's why my PRs don't look like vibe coded, because these guys are coding it for me. Right, just kidding. Uh, what we are talking here, right, is, and we are discovering it's more even clear right now in AI. I don't know if you guys agree. The code was just the small part of the job. I think most of us, or all of us, already knew this, right? We have a lot of other things around this. We just don't code. We just don't be there typing some syntax and some stuff. We need to understand what we are doing, right? And I think that's the key to understand the AI and to improve it to deliver more for us. So, from this perspective, we can understand that there is a lot around it, and calling AI to code for us is just one small part of it. So, I would not go into many small details here, because I want more open conversation. But we already saw that we can improve something in AI doing some prompting improvement, like we are at no prompting engineering, and we are at no context engineering. So both of these techniques, concepts, are helping us to do more with AI, because otherwise AI can get lost, can have poor results, right? So we already know a little bit about this, but even using this, I was feeling in my experiences, and mainly at the work, that I have a huge database, 10 years legacy software, right? That my initial intent was not being delivered into the code. It was not being transformed in the code, right? So then I started figuring out, and just to get here now, what is intent, and what is one concept called the drift detection. That was also some problem from long ago. It's not something new from AI, right? We start designing something, and many of you will remember that classic draw from waterfall models, that we start with an initial requirement, and at the end the result of the code, it was totally different from what we wanted or what the user wanted, right? So the same thing happens with AI. We start one thread, one session conversation, when we add a lot of context, and we keep going, and the result many times in the code is not exactly what we wanted. The provider start hallucinating, start forgetting a lot of things, and we need to ask again, oh, why are you doing this? We start fighting with AI. I don't know if any of you already started fighting.
Sure,
Arguing
Yeah,
yeah,
with.
I remember. Well, these days, I think less. I think, oh, of course, we do have a setup that helps, but also I think models became way better than some years ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's true. Sometimes, what? Why are you doing this? I just want you to do that.
exactly.
yeah,
If you don't give in enough context, you will be fighting with it until these days. So it
yeah,
just
yeah,
goes
sure,
another way.
yeah. So to improve it, and understanding that only the prompting is not enough, something was missing, and this missing part was structure. And what I mean by structure, and I came again to our history and our models, right? So long ago we started uh, doing software engineering with the waterfall model. We have some fixed layers. First we analyze, and we do requirements, do coding specifications. Later the concept of SDD, right? And SDD, that stands for specification driver development. It's also not something new. It's just a structure, right? We need to remember that we are delivering software based in some methodology, based in some approach, some type of things that we are guiding us to deliver the software, right? So this acronym SDD, it's not even something exactly new, right? It's just repurposed right now in the AI area, right? And like we had in the past, any others like TDD, BDD. Oh, now if you do your code driving by testing, creating the tests first, your results will be better, your code design will be better, a lot of things, right? We already heard this. And the business, the behavior driving, and we have domain driving, we have a lot of things. So it's just ways, structured ways that guide us to have a better result. And I think that's the same with AI, and that's where I think that SDD fits, because SDD brings some structure and some steps that we are refining before we ask the AI to code for us, right? So it's just spec first and code second, right? And like I mentioned, it's not something exactly new. This concept we are at have long ago, and not so far. If you go to oh god, what's the name? The infrastructure as a code, right? We specify in the Terraform. We have the templates. We have the infrastructure define it, and then we create, based in this specification, we can create infrastructure, right? Even code in the past, we had any models. For example, based in a YAML, I can create my open specification, my APIs, my DTOs, right, for using. So we are at generating code based in something like this, right? In some specifications. So this is just kind of a repurpose of the specifications to give AI some receipt, something to follow some steps that we want, and then generate the code. Uh, I will present here some of the options and the option that I'm using nowadays. And then I think I will open for some questions and let's discuss a little bit before moving forward, right? We have multiple type of agents. I just brought here the four, right? And I know that some companies and some teams or group of people are creating their own type of phases for and prompts for specifications. So we have Kiro from AWS that is based in the spec-driven, but it's more like IDN native, right? We have TAS that also is another library, and we have BMAD. It's not exactly spec-driven, but it's a little bit similar. That work in agents that can deliver the software, and the purpose or the idea is that you have kind of a agile team, but each agent has one role. It's like you have a Scrum, you have a Scrum Master, we have a designer, we have a coder, we have a tester, and this team will deliver a feature. But they are all agents. Like it's kind of similar that we do in delivery software in the real world, right? And we have OpenSpec that the most close to the tool that I'm using currently. That is the spec kit from the GitHub, right? Just different versions. I didn't try it all. I just using more spec kit and I think Sila mentioned it before. We have a lot to learn, a lot to test. So if I try to use a lot of these tools, I will not be mastering none of this, and I will not get leverage of this. So I decided to use what is there, what is more reliable, I can say, because it has more than 100K stars in the GitHub. It's a well-sponsored project. It's not something that is going to die in 5 minutes, right? So someone big is driving it and is building this, right? And so now moving, I will give more examples of spec kit. And my real purpose of this presentation, it's not exactly talk about or teach about the spec kit, because spec kit is one tool that help us to apply the SDD, specification driver development. I want to bring how I'm doing this and applying this together with other concepts to have good pull requests that doesn't look like AI, right?
Great.
So what do you guys think? And did you guys already tried some of these before? I know that Hugo already presented something in the past sessions.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
been playing with the concept of spec-driven development, but not using any kit or any of the tools that you mentioned. So learning right now, learning right now about these new tools that will bring us now, and how to implement it better. So
Great.
And I took a path of I started with OpenSpec and SpecKit, and then I eventually created my own specification and felt more natural. But some fellows they are using SpecKit and with the and now connecting with that loop engineering concept. So and they are having a good results. At least what I heard, I couldn't see at the results, but yeah, I think it's a interesting point because one of the what I thought is one of the benefits of that AI enabled for everyone is how it can um, customize your environment, the interface that you have with the machine, and I believe that was the interesting, maybe productive part, that people can actually make their own way to be productive. um, and actually that was the reason I started using my own specs for development, but we do use only for greenfield POC, so don't have much experience with bigger projects. But yeah, but at the same time, to custom makes things less standard, and then makes less more difficult to maintain or to scale the methodology. So I think it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah. What was your experience like using your own specification style? What do you think? It was good, like comparing with Open Spec and Spec Kit.
Sorry.
Comparing with Open Spec and the Spec Kit, right? And you said that you wrote your own. What is the difference that you notice in the results? In
Oh, the difference. Oh, yeah. I think the very first barrier is that I needed to remember the commands for OpenSpec and the spec kit. And by using my own, I just asked to write the spec, and implement the spec. And also thought there was too much document being generated, and I think my belief is it is the spec should be short enough to be maintainable, so people can read actually and validate. If there is too many details, too many things reading, we just ignore as any other AI swap. So that was one of the things I moved to. Oh, I don't need this level of detail. I just need this, and that, and it should be short enough to be human readable. One of the most used prompt from my side is make it token effective and human readable.
That's
Every
important.
end of my prompt are token effective and human readable.
That's important. Hey, Fernando,
that
I do
that's
have a
something.
question.
Go ahead.
On the we're talking about spec kits and about all of these tools you just showed us right now, but just for our audience to understand and also for myself, what is exactly spec kit? By the name, I assume that it's a kit that helps you implement spec driven development, right?
Yeah, sure. And let me share again here, and let me show you what is exactly this, right? So let me share another screen now
Sure.
in my project.
Sure, because we are talking about this difference that Hugo just mentioned us now. For most of us, we went from vibe coding to agents coding, but most of us we just tell AI how to do it. And then you do have the proper way of doing the vibe coding using the tools that it's implementing skills, hooks, and enough context. If it's on Cloud MD, if it's on Gemini MD, or you can use the agents.md. Little Hugo is showing here in the audience. And then how these specifications that we guide AI to code differs from these tools that you just showed us from SpecKit as a question.
Yeah, great. I think uh, it also depends on the provider that you are using, right?
Mhm.
Let me show a little bit on what it's this, right? So depending on the uh, provider that you are using, you will have agents or you will have prompts or skills, right? So, for example, Copilot, it's using the spec kit based on agents. So you can select one agent or call a agent and pass the task that you want to execute. But for cloud, for example, it's a command, right? It's a prompt that you can call. Or for others, maybe a skill that you naturally will invoke. So you will say naturally, oh, I want to start a new specification of a feature. And then the provider will evoke this feature for you. And these are commands, right? Uh, let me get from the code
So
here.
the provider is the one that invokes spec kits, or do I need to have it properly configured in the project before?
Yes, yes. You need to configure it before, right? For example,
Okay.
I have installed it, and you have two ways to install it. You can install in your repository, or you can install it globally in your machine. For example, the cloud has the user rom file dot cloud dot something that are general configurations. Same for Copilot. You have rom user dot copilot dot settings dot whatever, and then you can install these commands there, right? So, for example, I don't know, it's showing good for you. I don't know, here it's showing a little bit small for me.
Yeah.
A bit
Dot
smaller,
focus.
yes.
Well, I can see it properly here, but yeah, a little bit of zoom,
Mhm.
and if you can minimize the git part below.
Oh yeah, sure. Here, right
Yeah, sure.
here. Great. So when you install, you will have something like this, right? So here you have commands that it installed for me. So it provided a lot of things here. So if I open a session, let's open, for example, Juni that it's from IntelliJ
Yeah,
that
JetBrains.
Mhm.
didn't use it from a long time. So I can add a comment here. No. It's a long time since the last that I have used it to this. So starting here, I will ask, for example, to start a specification, I can do spec kit and I have my comments here, my list of comments, right? So
Mhm.
if I want to start with the first step that spec kit is specified, I will call like this. So
Oh,
specify what? Oh, I want to change and add internationalization. I don't know if I did it right. To Japanese, right?
okay.
So this will be some change in my software that I will start specifying. And what is this specification? And let us enter a little bit on the phases of the specifications. And what is the SDD, right? About, because it's not only prompting, right? So going back to the presentation that it's somewhere here. So what we have for these providers, right? These I took from Martin Fowler blog, right? Essentially, these approach, these tools that we use to implement these kits, they work with some sort of memory bank that for spec kit, it's a file called constitution. The constitution is the things that you have in your project, your Java version, your React version, your approach, if the front end is together with back end or not. So some information, right, about your project and maybe some guidelines or something. And then you will have templates for generating new features, for example, for generating the specification, the plan, the tasks, the implementations. And then when you start doing your job in these phases, this will generate files like this, your specifications. So it will create a folder for you for that specific feature that you're using. And then it will create small files with each of the MD files here. So the first one will be specification, then we'll break down. So let me just go on this a little bit. So before, what we do and why sometimes we don't have good results, it's because we just prompt and then we don't know what happens because it's all machine inference. The machine decides for us and generates the code, right? But with SpecKit, we have a flow to follow. And this flow starts with defining the constitution or identifying. If you are in a brownfield, if you are a pre-existing legacy project, you will read your project to build this constitution. And you have a command called speckit.constitution that you just call or pass all, read my project to understand. It's using Java. And then it will build this for you, right? Okay, this is artifact for the entire project. But for each feature, what you're doing step by step is create your specification. Specification is more close to a requirement. So it's not exactly business requirement, but it's close to it. So it's the receipt, what your feature does, what change will make, what impact in the system will have, what is the business feature that is behind of it, what is the UI that is consuming your endpoint. You give more details about your change, your feature, your task that you're developing right now. With that, it will create a spec.md. I will show one of mine in a second. After this phase, you go to another refinement session that you do a plan. So starting from the specification, the plan will take a look in your code, the change that it might do, and will plan for you. The same thing that we do in our job. We investigate. We don't take the task in the Jira and start coding, right? We need to go to the code base. We need to plan what to do. We need to break down in tasks. We need to do this analysis, right? So this is the second phase. With the plan, it's a big plan. You break it down in smaller tasks. These smaller tasks, it's where it will be well defined. Oh, the task one, I need to create a DTO with these fields, with this structure, with this contract. Task two, oh, I need to create an API. The API will have this endpoint and blah blah blah. And we need to task three, create a service. Task four, create the entity. Task five. So a lot of breakdowns. And then the latest step is to call the comment on the spec kit in this flow to ask for the implementation. So based on all these refinements that we do, then it will start implementing, right? So let's show it a little bit in one code here. I will use, for example, this project that is for my mentors. So where it's these things, right? So for example, here in an updated version, I have skills instead of comments. It's pretty similar, right? I have all the things here. So I have implement a lot of things. Okay. So this dot specify folder, it's a folder that's created to this spec kit model to control things in my project. So here I will have my memory and I can open my constitution here and will say things about my project. So let's see what it contains, right? So it has my core principles of my project. Oh, it's a simple monolith. It's not microservices. It's containerization, modern Java. So I have a lot of things here that guides my project. So the provider will not start coding whatever he wants with this. I'm guiding. I'm saying what is the standards and what is the guidelines for my project based on this, right? I think OpenSpec and other models have something similar to this, right? So I have other things here. I will not enter on all of this. And let's go to specifications. Let's show one specification. Let's see, for example, email delivery. So here it's just a sample of one specification. So it said, oh, feature specification, email delivery for magic code login and notifications. So it defined what is the user stories for this in order to make it work. And you see that in the spec, it's more high level with the functional requirements and not functional requirements. And here, for example, I can ask to add more, for example, performance, security, some extra things that I want to include here in my specification. And then if I call tasks, I will have here my breakdown of tasks. So, first the plan, sorry. So my plan. So it will have some technical context. So now it entered and read my constitution to understand what is the decisions, design, architecture, and then it break down in tasks. And these tasks, when I call implement, that will generate the code.
So all these breakdowns that you're showing us right now into the specs folder, they are generated by the spec kit based on the constitution that you provided in the beginning. Is that right?
Yes, yes, based in the constitution and also based in what I requested. When I type something like that, let me just exercise right here. I have a just
Great.
simple project that is CRM to control. I don't know how I say HIFA in English, like
Ruffle.
sorteio.
Ruffle.
Ruffle. Ruffle.
Rough.
Okay. So I have this simple project here, and this project I have it here is in Portuguese, but it will not have so much. So let's do one default password here. So here I have my opponents something that I will do. I have the value that I sold, the number of things that I will sell. I have my wallet, what I have to receive that I sold, but some people didn't pay me. And I have buyers. So I have some small thing here, really small project. So let's start specifying this to create internationalization, right? So I can, oh, God, I don't have the spec kit here. Oh, my bad. I will not be able to use this. I will need to use another project. Uh, let me go to here. So I have this project here, right? So this is a dashboard that I use for my mentees, right? Uh, so give me a sample of a simple feature that I can add here. Anything, it can be handled. Some feature that we want to add. Weather. What's the weather today? Let's ask this. So I can start calling spec kit specify. So what I want to do. Oh, the blue thing is not showing very well here, but the spec kit specify, right? It's a command that I'm calling.
Yeah, and
So
if you, I don't know if you can zoom in the font size.
I don't know how to do it in the booty.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Mm,
never did this zone here in this tool.
no problem. Good question. Okay.
Good question, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, no problem. Go ahead and
uh, it's too small,
yeah,
or
but if you talk what command you're using, I think we can follow up.
Yeah.
okay,
For
great.
for
And
the for those of us that are watching on full screen, you will be able to read it.
okay, no problem. I also can do something like this. So I can copy what I'm doing. So spec it, and here I can zone
Great.
spec it, want to specify. So what I will specify. So I will say I want to add a weather. I don't know if I'm typing correctly. Uh,
Correct.
Check for the current day on my uh, mentor dashboard. Right. This is the feature that I want to do. So let me put this here.
So right
And I
now,
can,
before you move forward, you're saying to spec it that you have installed on this project to
yes,
create all that specification that you showed us into the specs folder, right? Says to do the planning, to do the tasks.
yes.
Oh, that's
Not
great.
all, just the spec part, right?
Mhm.
Just
So
the
Right.
spec part. Hmm.
yes, just the spec part. Let me just see if I can show here in my machine. Also, I have a cloud here that I think I can show. Let me just do a new session here. Uh, oh, I am already in the project. I think I can do it here. And here, how can I zoom this? Anyone knows how can I show font size? Help? Yes, I need help.
On view, maybe. Zoom
Zoom.
in. There you have.
Great. So let's see if I have here. Oh, I have it here. So I will specify, and I will get this again, and add here. And let's see it working, right? Oh, I'm spinning my Fable. So let's change to Opus.
Fable is
Let's
not
see
cheap.
what it will give us. But meanwhile, I want to add another thing, right? Because it will generate something for us. But the most powerful thing that we have, it's not only this, because this is a structure that it's good and it's okay and it works pretty well. It works, in my opinion, better than just prompting out of nowhere, right? Because you have phases, you have this iteration where you are refining and giving more context to AI to work, right?
Hmm.
But it will not be as good as we want. For example, as good developers. Imagine if a developer that doesn't know about clean code, or a developer that doesn't know about solid principles, right? Good practices, right? It will deliver something for us, some feature that we wanted, but not in a good code, not in a good shape. That's what enters the harness. That is everything that is around our model and around our approach. So let me show something here that I have in this project, for example. So side of the constitution, I have the classic agents file here. And this I need to zoom as well. Uh, I think it's already good, right?
Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So here in my agents, what I have is some instructions that will guide my provider, my AI implementation, to follow my standards, my conventions. So when it comes to coding standards and error handling, I'm giving exactly what I want and exactly what I use in my project, what I consider good practices. Because sometimes it's not, we don't use the best approach in the world, the best can code in the world. Sometimes we, for example, don't want to touch old and legacy classes, right? We have a class that is old and part of the legacy code that we don't want to change. We don't want to refactor everything. So we can specify, oh, for that models, that package, you will not refactor entirely. If you are working in a feature that it's like that or that, you might do small inserts in small changes in that class and create new classes with the good practices, right? So I have all these guidance here, and that's where the magic happens. This, together with a structured approach, where I have few iterations, where I refine things before asking for coding, that's where we deliver amazing pull requests, amazing coding to production, right? So it will have all the iterations that I have, and then you will say, oh, I need to follow these conventions. Oh, let's see. So the layering in dependencies, I need to follow this and that. For DTOs, I need to follow this. Oh, I need to put, for example, DTO at the end because I prefer like that. Maybe other projects doesn't like to put DTOs with this naming, right? With the suffix DTO. But I like to do this. So I will have some naming, I will have some error, I will have a lot of things here that I have in my agent. So I'm in my projects, I create something like this, docs folder and AI folder inside of it, where I create small and detailed files divided, where I teach the provider, I teach AI that these are my files to follow. And if I open here my constitution, it will be pointing to these files as well. So I have one tool that is guided by constitution. So in the constitution, I say, oh, a part of your constitution things that you already have, your principles, a lot of things that you have, also consider that I have these guidelines here. So that's what where the magic will happen, right? So let me get back to here. So let's
It's
just see
much
what we.
more work on the specification and have it much more defined how the AI needs to behave, conventions that it needs to follow, technology, best
Yes.
patterns on the technical side, and the other side, how it will understand what it needs to achieve on the specification, right?
Yes, exactly. Because I could, for example, I could just type, start implementing, right? I don't need to do all of this work, right? I just need to, if I want to go straight forward in some implementation, I can create a new session here, and I can just say, oh, implement this for me in this project. Oh, I'm sorry. Implement this for me in this project.
You were shouting to the AI, he would say, keep calm.
Yeah, yeah, I was shouting. So I can do all of these, right? So I can just ask for implementation, and maybe I can came up with a elaborated prompting. I can say, oh, you will act. I will give a role for this as a Java software specialist with knowledge in React as well, and oh, do a good code and do not make mistakes.
Sure.
Right, and we hope that it will work, right? And that will everything generate it's good, right? But it's not how it work. Like I showed, like it will end up in the situation where we have a big question mark, right? What is it here? We will have a
There.
big question mark here. So I did the prompt, I did some context, but what he will do, it's a mystery. And that's where the things fail. And that's where the code is AI like, right? That's where it doesn't generate good things. So that's why if we want to have a good result, good output of coding, that's one way to achieve this. Having uh, iteration steps using some of these tools that we have. It can be OpenSpec. It has similar process, or maybe the Yugo version, right? The Yugo framework, right? Has something similar, right? Or with less steps, I don't know, right? But we'll have more, and we'll have more elaboration on top of this, right?
Would comment. And yeah, I think one thing I love about this the approach of spectrum development is that uh, when we do make explicit document with the common practices, we do agree inside the team, inside the project. So we stop with the uh, this is this is a code written by Hugo. This is a code written by Fernando. It starts to become more a single person written project, at least a standard thing, and that's what I see very powerful in this approach because it it creates some discipline for us, or it forces us to actually agree in some conventions like the constitution. This is one file that I keep created here as well with some things that with things that is um, that everyone have to agree in every project. So don't need to be
Yeah,
and I don't want agent doing anything different from this, and and it's shareable, so it's scalable. The rules are scalable because you have it documented, and don't and you don't have to rely on the person to actually read that. If they use AI agents, the agent will read that and will follow it, or at
yeah,
least
yeah.
in the most of the time. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. And here, I also want to bring my experience in many projects that I read worked in different companies, where we got the best results in terms of coding, in terms of less bugs, or in terms of less friction inside of the team, is where we agreed in some standards. So very often I was in this front doing this part as tech lead to get in the team and have these definitions. So very often I came up with some common rules, common patterns. Oh, what's going to be our pattern for naming? It's going to be camel case. It's going to be another thing. Oh, we are going to use DTOs or not? Oh, we are going to use this layer, not this layer, clean architecture. What we are going to use, right?
Ever
So
spaces.
Yeah.
Tab or spaces.
Yes, yes. What
That's a
four?
classical.
Yeah, four spaces, no, two spaces, tab, no, what do we want? So instead of be fighting in every pull request, right, having this friction, losing time in this, losing effort in this, if we decide, if we gather together in a meeting, if we decide and came up with this approach that everyone should follow, then the results will be better and we will be more productive, right? And now with AI, we also need to include AI as part of this thing. So I'm applying the same thing that I did for my teams. Oh, this is our standards. When I will review your pull request, I will not get something from my mind out of nowhere. I will read our standards and I will point out, oh, here you did something different. So I don't want you to change the name of the class because I just don't like it. Maybe it's out of our patterns. It's not calling service. It's not being called the handler, right? And this is clear in our patterns. Of course, and something that I want to bring is it will solve all the problems. It will generate a magic code forever. No, right? Same thing that even we came up with the most elaborated book, not a guide, but a book, a Bible for our coding. Not every developer will remember everything. And we will not cover every scenarios, every syntax, everything. So same here. AI will make a little bit of mistakes here and there. But if we have this harness stuff and this process that we are iterating and refining, it reduces a lot the mistakes and the hallucinations that we'll uh, try to guess or try to infer, right?
And even if you have these specifications, I believe that it took a time to have all of this documentation elaborated, right? Even if you use AI to create it, you need to iterate to have it written by the standards that you want your team to follow, and
Sure.
or even align with them if this makes sense or not, and have this kit, this convention kit prepared for your team so everyone can use it as a tool for the development. So the output of the code would be mostly more close to what everyone does. It will not be a very big difference, because if you have
Yeah.
no specification of all, even if you're just five coding in the same machine, you can just do the same prompt and you will have different results.
Yes, yes, because it's not deterministic, right? It's a
Yep.
probability and it can change because not always will calculate the same things, right? So it can drift, it can change a little bit, even if you use, like you said, the same environment, right? It can
Yeah.
drift a little bit.
And
Ah,
just a
so,
question on the prompts that are showing here. I was asking you before, and then you told me that it was just generating the spec. So you use the command or the skill. Not sure how it's configured in the project that we're running right now. I believe it was the skill for this mentor dashboard to
yes,
generate this spec, right?
yes.
And my question would be, what's the difference on having this skill instead of saying directly to Cloud, generate a specification for this feature? I
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
I believe that it will have more context because it's on a skill, right? But let me just ask you, because you're putting there spec kits slash spec, and then you ask to generate specify, right? So all
Yes.
of that,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's part of the spec kit, right?
Yes, something that it's great is that SpecKit already talked about this for you, right? Some specialists, or maybe not that specialist, but some team of person decided to came up with these pre-made prompts for you.
Mm.
So you already have lots of lines of this specification here. So it's a well-designed prompt. So it will already give you a lot of things here to guide on this, how to think on this, what is the output, because the output is not handled. It defines a well-structured output, right? That, for example, for the spec is in this format, in the user stories and the thinking about some scenarios, right? So if you have a elaborated prompt like this one, you can use directly. Let's say if I copy everything here, this is my prompt, right?
Mhm.
So let's say that I will go here and now I will type this, and also I will say in the beginning or in the end, I will say, I will copy and paste here, the same thing.
Mhm.
So instead of calling the comment, I'm putting my elaborated prompt here, right? And that is something that some people are doing because they think that spec kit or open spec it's too much for they, or they don't want to remember, like you don't want to remember the comments. You can came up with your own. You can come up with your elaborated prompt, so it doesn't need to be big as this. We're covering all the things, but let's keep get my preview thing. I can have a lot of things pre-made. Oh, act as this, act as this, consider this and that. Uh, Output should be a list of requirements. You should consider constraints. You should, what else? You can come up with your rules here, right? It will
Mhm.
work as well. If you have multiple phases, multiple iterations, as long as you have a good process, you will have a similar and good result. What I like to use these famous ones is that they already have talked about a lot of this. And as we were talking at the beginning, there is a lot of things to learn. There is a lot of things to consider. We don't know how to do this. So if we don't have that much time, that much learning, why not use just a single comment, a single command that it's given for us? So it simplifies a lot. Just spec it like the next thing it will do now, right now. So it
Yes.
created this the spec and the plan, so we can review and we can change some stuff of this. So let's just do a quick look what it created for us here.
Sure.
33.
And it
So
also organizes, right? I can see that organized by number. So really interesting.
yes, 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 if you keep all the specifications, yes, it will follow some numbers. In the company, for example, I don't use a sequential.
Mm.
In the company I use the Jira number.
Jira numbers.
Yeah.
Or for example, now we are using Azure DevOps, so Azure Boards. So we use the ADO number of the ticket. That's the same. It's something to identify. So here I could have LWF or my project, my Jira one
Okay,
two
but
three
do
four.
you change
Yes.
that manually, or it does for
No,
you some way?
it does for you in some way because as you can see, the spec kit is very smart on this. you have multiple scripts and templates here. For
Uh-huh.
example, to create a new spec in the template, it will, and let me just check, I think it's here. Oh, here. So feature numbering, sequential.
Oh.
I can
Um,
say Jira ticket.
Mm.
And in somewhere I will teach using my AI, oh, I want you to change the spec kit variables and instructions to use Jira number tickets, or to request, because he doesn't know, right? To request to the user that using the input to provide the ticket number as first thing ever. That's one approach. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that SpecKit, it's evolving. They have options to you to do some extensions. So you can create a Jira extension, for example, on top of it. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to modify a lot of the instructions, and you just say, for example, like I did this feature numbering Jira, and maybe you will have here a file called jira.extension, and here you will have your MCP or something connected here that
Mm-hmm.
will change the behavior of the kit to work for you in this way, considering the Jira.
That's
and
great.
Fernando, I have a question. What happens if you need to change a specification because your requirements have changed? So how do you
Great,
adopt it?
great. So let's see my specification here, right? And I already did a plan on top of this. But let's say, oh, the specification is good, but something changed. Then I came up in my plan. It can be in multiple situations, right? First, the initial requirement can be totally changed, and we need to change the specification, or we just identified a little bit of change, so we can change our plan. So we will review these documents here, and we will ask for change. So we came back here, and I don't want to go with the tasks. That would be my next step. So instead of this, I want to go again to specify, or I can use also some other things here, but let's say specify. And you see that here, the tip that says create or update the feature specification.
Ah, okay. All right.
So, oh, it has changed. Now it will be fixed to everyone to use Brazil weather, right?
Uh,
Then I will change.
Fernando, while the prompt is running, I would like to say that Andres said in the chat two things, two comments. One is, I remember I tried Conductor in Gemini CLI. It was nice. I will try SpecKit with Claude. I will try it with the next task I start. And the second comment was, loving this session. I will give SDD another shot with SpecKit for sure. So thank you, Andres, and hope
Great.
everyone is liking this amazing session. Thank you, Fernando.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I would say if you tried it like 6 months ago, try it again, because it's a total change. Like 6 months in our AI world where everything evolved too fast, and now we have new models. For example, you might have tried using Haiku even before Sonnet, or the initial versions of Sonnet, right? And now we have Opus here, and we have Fable, and we have the even the spec kit. It's not the same prompt that it was before. They are committing every day, every week. They are working on top of this to make it better. So if you have tried and didn't have results, try again. or even try another tool. If you tried the spec kit and didn't like, you think that is too much, try open spec now, right? But really worth uh, doing this, right? Really worth. And here it analyzed it, right? And it came up with some changes. So what changed? It changed some of my functional requirements in my spec.md, right? And also not the spec, right? I can see that when I run the plan, it also generated some extra files. So it already identified the research. It came up with suggested data model, contracts. So it already included some new files for me that I also again can come here and I can see, oh, data model. Let's see. It will have latitude, longitude label. Oh, this is the DTO weather response. And I can come here and say manually, I don't want need to use AI for everything. I can come here, understand the purpose because it's not that big. Sometimes, depending on our project, it can be big or it can be a little bit small. But since we are doing these small steps, right, that is also a good approach. We don't refactor the entire system in a single feature, in a single branch, right? We breaking it down. That's how we deliver good software, right? So the same thing here. So I will locate this weather response. Oh, I don't like weather response. I want weather response DTO because I'm DTO maniac, right? So I have changed here my data with this, and I don't want fetch it at time stamp, for example, right? I can come here and change some stuff before going to the next step.
Mhm.
And that's where I have more control on what it's doing. Of course, maybe sometimes, maybe some simple tasks, you will not review that much. And if you have some project that is elaborated, that you have a lot of guides, for example, here, maybe you will not spend a lot of time reviewing every single uh, artifact, every single .md. You will review all the lines manually. You can trust a little bit, and maybe you can review at the end in the pull request because you will still have the pull request, right? For something, right? Some of the things, some of the tasks, you will still have it, right? So you can review later and you can see, oh, it changed. Oh, it didn't create in the way, it didn't respect the DTO rule. It created without it. Okay, you can ask it to refactor. You can do the refactor manually. Or, and mainly, I think one tip that I want to have here as we are approaching to the end, right? We are past the 7 minutes. This is not fixed. Like you mentioned, right? I forgot the names here. Where is my screen, by the way? Uh, okay, yeah, Igor, right?
Right.
Uh, this is something that if you don't have a good guidelines for your team right now, you will start building it slowly. And this is living documents. This is something that you are going to improve time by time. And for example, here, let's do it live. So before continuing, and let's just roll back here. I will copy this. I will roll back, and I will
Okay.
say here, oh, it generated the, but I want to follow my guidelines and standard using detail at the end, like this. So I will ask, and here I'm not using the spec kit anymore. I'm just using the AI, but I will
Yeah.
use the AI to improve my harness. So uh, not only update this, but I want you to improve my harness. Oh, typing too fast. Files, uh, and update my guidelines to always create DTOs using DTO suffix, right? Then it will change my files, and next time, next pull request, next feature, it's something less that will drift from my good coding. Then in the next pull request that I will open, it will look like it's me doing this and not AI, right? That's the entire purpose. And that's how we receive feedbacks like this one that I received and that I shared at the beginning, right? So that's where we will have this here, right?
Yeah. That's
So
from where the vibe code becomes a pair programming code.
yes, and became something that it has high quality, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
High value, not just a bunch of coding that we are throwing away, right? We are seeing a lot of people and companies complain, oh, there's an amount of coding, amount of garbage that's being generated that we don't want to accept, that it's not helping us, it's just generating a lot of boilerplates and a lot of comments because AI likes to add a lot of small comments and everything, right? So that's why how we do, right, to change this.
Cool. I think I have things to add. I couldn't add a comment before, but when you mentioned it regarding to when Igor asked it regarding to um, using spec kits or what is the difference of doing yourself, and one of the biggest bottleneck of doing by yourself is exactly what Fernando mentioned. It you have to design these prompts, and sometimes you don't have all the not just the rules, but you don't have the autonomy to design this for the entire team. So you have to talk with everyone and converge. So this is something that someone else made, and it's great. Uh, they had time to do that. They were paid to do that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's better to inherit those knowledge from some third party. But if you have very specifics, you can also extend. You can also add some other rules to be following in your process. The only thing I changed it, I decided to not follow yet because it was some I think it was some months ago, as Fernando mentioned it. I thought that okay, spec to implementation, I think it's good. I think it's good enough. I don't need the plan and test because I won't review it. So that was my mindset at that time, and I don't know. I still it's debatable. And I see a very good question from Andres. Andres, sorry, we are having some issue with the comments here on the platform, so that's why we are taking long time to see the comments here. We are taking it from directly from the YouTube, and he asked here, which models do you use for each phase?
Sorry, can you repeat again? I
Uh,
didn't see the question.
the question is, which models do you use for each phase?
Oh, okay, great. I like to use the most powerful for the initial phase,
Mm.
right? And that's something that I also forgot because I skipped some steps here, but these two initial steps. So if you are at the first time creating your constitution, it's worth to using a powerful model. And when you are in a project that is already in production, that it's most of our jobs, right? We are not in the green field. we are maintaining and increasing features in something that is already there, right? So it worth to first came up with what I call the pre-spec. So you talk in a high with a high model, gathering more data and understanding a little bit more about your problem and about your task. So it will be at the end not as simple as my prompt here that I said at the beginning. Just implement something, right? Here. So instead of this, I would first talk a little bit with my model. So, oh, I'm thinking, or I need, right? Uh, right? What are the possible sources of this information? Uh, what are the different time zones, regions, right?
It's kind of a warm up to the model so he can start
Yes,
planning on what you're looking to do, right?
exactly, exactly. And then with this, right, I will get a elaborated in starting for my specification. I did this a lot in my job because I'm working in a legacy of 10 years with multiple features and coding, right? So I need to have more details. I
Mm.
I can't just say, oh, let's change, for example, the payment feature where the credit card is being processed to add a new value, to add a new type of payments. It's not simple as that. If we input like that, it might work as well. We will spend a lot of tokens. It will not generate a good result. So doing this warm up, like you called, that's great. By the way, you will came up with a good asking for your specification. So then you will came up uh, with a good thing to start. So let's ask Gemini here to give something for me.
Oh, that will be
And
great to see on a different model, a different tool.
yes, but it's just the warm up, right?
You will do the warm up on Gemini and then change
Yes,
to okay
yes,
to cloud. So, but I understand that if I do use, let's say, the agentic from Google, it's how it's called. I don't remember the tool. Anti-gravity. I can use spec it same way, right?
yes, yes. They support, I think, more than 50 or 100 providers, different providers. I think last year it was just 30,
Mhm.
and now they expanded a lot. So they have, of course, it will work as good as the main ones. Maybe no,
Mhm.
because they have to optimize it. They will invest more time optimizing the skills and some small details for the machines for the best prompts and the most famous ones, right? So they will optimize it for the cloud, for the Gemini, for the Codex, for the AWS one, right? For the Gemini and the Gravity, but for the Kimi or for another that is not that famous, for Olama something, it will work because they all follow nowadays kind of similar patterns for skills, for commands, for these kind of things. So it will be working, right?
Great.
So it
So,
came up here with a lot of text, right? So and I can make some decisions, right? But let's imagine that I have all the decisions already here. So I can go back here. So instead of doing that small prompt, I will do here again, asking the specify, but now with more context.
Mm,
And then it will be this warm up will be really powerful because the spec.md that will generate it will be much better, much rich, right? With that amount of information. And maybe something that it would be catch in the next layers, in the next phase, in the plan, for example, because here it asked me some stuff. It asked me if I want to use Celsius, for example, or Fahrenheit. So I would came up at the beginning with this information already given, because it's also some part of our job to analyze our demands, to analyze our tickets, right? So then
abs-
it would create better spec, better plan, better tasks,
better tasks, better results.
better results. And then that's it. So I don't use in my daily basis only simple it specifies simple text. Generally, more often, I use this with a little bit more detailed using this warm up context for my features.
That's great. Great. Thanks for explaining that. That's really helpful.
So I think the conversation are very good, but we exceeded a lot actually the time. So we want to thanks Fernando. I think it was great to have you here and talk about the this content. We had some issues with the chat and integration with the our streaming channels, but we could bring some questions from the audience. They are talking on the YouTube, so thanks Andrea especially. We forgot to say hello to Renato Nobrega as well. It was watching us, and thanks everyone for being here. And Fernando, just to let you know, we do when we do finish here, we stay a little bit on the backstage so we can talk a bit, and so don't just leave
Okay, yeah,
because of
great,
the
great,
yeah. And do you want to
great.
say something from the for the audience to yeah to connect with you and a last message?
Sure, sure. First, thanks, really thanks to be here. It's a pleasure to be here with you all, right? And it was a pleasure to present this. It's something that I'm really enthusiastic about, really willing to learn more. So connect with me in my social media. Here is my link. I hope this is working, like the QR code, right? Connect with me in LinkedIn, in other platforms. Let's share something. If you have some questions, ask me, send me a message. Let's work together. And it was a real a pleasure. And also, if you want to receive something, so ping me later, right? Connect to me, and I will uh, send to you a detailed prompt that I have created to create my
Oh,
harness in new
Oh, great.
projects, right? So I have this artifact that I can send, so it can help you to already study your project and ask you some preference to define if you are using spaces or tabs or something in your project.
That's
excellent.
great. Great. Fernando, from my side, thank you very much. It was an amazing session. Lots of great content that you brought us here. I could learn a lot on today. I've been aware of this spec-driven developments cycle, but now I know how to do that more properly with tools and with everything that you brought us here. For everyone that is watching us, guys, this session was golden. If you're arriving late, just rewatch that from the beginning, because thank you very much for bringing us everything that you just showed us on today, Fernando. Great to have you here, by the way.
It's great.
Thank you, Fernando, for bringing the topic. So it was great. Thanks.
Great. It was a pleasure. And also thank you by the audience interacting and doing some questions. We couldn't follow that close, but it was really good. Really great. I hope that I responded to some stuff, and feel free to contact to talk more.
Excellent. So that's it. Thanks everyone. See you on the next session. Bye.
Take care,
Thank
guys. See
you.
you.
See you.